It's a very touching and powerful story. Rabbi Akiva, the Medrash tells us, was in a cemetery. We don't know why, but he was in a cemetery. And he sees a strange sight. He sees a man covered in charcoal black, hurrying about, chopping down wood, and collecting and gathering it. He goes over to the man and says to him, "What are you doing?" And the man says, "I need to go, I need to go." He says, what's your story? If you're a pauper, I'll help pray that you become wealthy. If you're a slave to a master, I'll help free you. And the man says, "Please leave me alone, because those that have sent me here may get upset, and I need to be there on time with the wood." Rabbi Akiva, of course, did not let go. He goes over to the man and says, "What is your story? Who are you?" And he says, "I'm a man from another world. I'm not from the living. I lived a very tragic life, very cruel life, and now I am paying back for all that I've done. And one of my punishments is that I need to gather this wood, and every night I am punished on the wood, on the fire of the wood that turns me charcoal black." Rabbi Akiva, being Rabbi Akiva, of course, the lover of Jews, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, Rabbi Akiva said, this klal gadol b'Torah, the fundamental principle of Torah. So Rabbi Akiva says to him, "And have they told you? Is there any way for you to redeem yourself?" So he says, "Yes, but it's too late for me." "What is the way? What have they told you?" He said that if I had a child, and that child said kaddish, and people would respond, "Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabba Mavarach La'ol Mamal Ma'i Yisbarach," that would redeem me. But I don't think I have a child. When I died, my wife was pregnant. I don't know if she gave birth. So he says, "Who are you? What's your name?" He said, "My name is Ukba. My wife's name is Shashiva. And we come from a city called Lanuka'a." Lanuka'a. Rabbi Akiva says, okay. He goes to the city and starts asking around, "Does anybody know an Ukba?" And they begins hearing curses. "Ukba, may his bones be grinded." "What about Shashiva? May she be cursed forever." They were hated because they were very cruel people, and the city hated them. And he said, "Did they have a child?" "Yes, they had a child, but we've rejected the child. We've thrown the child away. Where's this child? Where can I find him?" Rabbi Akiva went and sought him out and found him and saw that he had no education. He wasn't even circumcised. So he circumcised him. This is all the Medrash, quoting straight from the Medrash. He circumcised him and began teaching him Aleph Beis, because he had no Hebrew, to be able to say Kaddish for his father. It didn't work. So Rabbi Akiva said, "I'm going to fast 40 fasts." A voice from heaven said, "What do you want?" He says, "I guarantee this boy, I want you to let me teach him Hebrew so he can say Kaddish." And then that was allowed. He took him to a minyan. He said Kaddish, and people answered, "Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabba." And from then on, Ukba was freed. That night, the Medrash concludes, Rabbi Akiva had a dream. Ukba came to the dream with tears in his eyes. I said, "Thank you. You've redeemed me." This is the power of Kaddish, the power of a child. Now, of course, in this case, it was a tragic case. When you're talking about an neshama that has done great good deeds. So the Arizal says something interesting. He says, mistake people make is that Kaddish is only to redeem from iniquities, to cleanse us from sins. No, that's a mistake. Kaddish helps elevate a soul from one level to the next level. So why is it that we don't mention the name of the deceased? Why don't we mention his neshama, his family, anything? Because the greatest response to death is Yiskadel v'Yiskadel Shmei Rabba. Everybody thinks, how can we beat death? What answers do we have? We have no answers when death strikes. Even the great Moshe Rabbeinu shuddered when he heard the word death. There's no words. There's no explanation. How can you beat death? The only way, Kaddish teaches us an immortal lesson. You want to reach a place of true life, you have to go back to the source of life. So as much as we would remember the departed soul, as much of the good deeds, it's still mortal. You want to really reach eternity, you have to go back to the eternal source of life. So we say, Yiskadel v'Yiskadel Shmei Rabba. That's the true comfort. That transcends life and death. It goes to a place that's beyond birth and beyond death, the source of it all. And when a child, like in the case of Rabbi Akiva, who appreciated, understood this power, when a child says it, he's invoking the eternal power of life in this world. And there's no greater consolation than that. So we say Kaddish,